Good evening, everyone. Hope you had a fantastic day. I'm Scott Mulchin of the Million Dollar Landscaper, and tonight I am joined by Chris Gentry of My Service Area. Now, Chris Gentry, he actually is in the trash can cleaning business, and he is the mastermind behind My Service Area. Now, My Service Area is an awesome little tool that will help you pre-qualify your leads. So welcome, Chris. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Certainly excited to talk to your community.
Yeah. So, Chris, you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself, a little bit about My Service Area, and tonight Chris is actually going to be giving us a little demo on it. Now, before you hop in, real quick, Chris, just want to remind everybody tomorrow's podcast we're going to be having Chris on, so don't miss it. It's a great episode. He's going to kind of go in some details about his business and discuss a little bit more about My Service Area. So don't miss that episode.
Yes, don't miss it. Be sure to tune in.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying, hop in, just let us know a little about yourself and My Service Area.
Yeah, well, great. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it. Always love when I can share My Service Area, or how we like to call it, MSA, with the lawn care world as we continue to grow and help other lawn care operators save some time and money. But so I'm not in the lawn care business. I'm in the trash can cleaning business. And yes, it's a real business. And I didn't start out. I bought the business 3 years ago. May timeframe will be 3 years. And, if you like looking up addresses, then, you may not find a benefit with MSA. But so I bought that business, and, I just had a problem of not being able to define a profitable service area. When I would come home in the summer, trash cans stink in the summertime with the heat and maggots and all that. So it's a very busy time, just like you guys. The grass is growing, you're out there cutting, and we're out there cleaning. But I would come home after cleaning cans, and there would be 5, 10, 15 requests, and I'd have to look up every one of those addresses and see if I serviced their address or not. Looked around on the market. People were saying, well, we'll use a zip code filter. Zip code filters are too broad. They're like people. They come in all different shapes and sizes. I needed something more finite, and there was nothing out there on the market. And so that's how MSA came about.
Nice.
And here we are today.
Yeah. So let us know if you guys can hear us, can see us. I was just trying to double check on my end to make sure everything's working. Sometimes technology gets a little goofy. So let me know if you guys can hear us and see us on the stream. It looks like we are streaming. So sometimes, like I said, things get a little wonky and got to double check. So, but no, thank you for being on here tonight, Chris. It's an amazing little story of like how you decided I didn't want to spend the evenings, going through and trying to see if the people are even in our area, and I even service it. I know many landscapers struggle with this and struggle trying to get the right client, and it's very prominent, I guess, more so in the lawn care side of business. Fertilizations, even snow plowing. Landscapers, they seem to tend to spread out a little bit further, just from my experience. Is that something that you see too?
So we do, but with the, and I'm going to show this to you in just a minute. So within My Service Area, if you offer multiple services, lawn care, landscaping, softscaping, weed and fertilization, or snow removal, the great thing about MSA is that we understand that there are different profit margins in each one of those services. Maybe lawn care is on the low end, and weed fertilization is on the high end for those margins. So you're willing to have a much larger territory for the weed and fertilization than you are with lawn care. So you can have a small territory for lawn care, a large territory for weed and fertilization. Snow removal, you may want a small area as well. And we just give you that functionality to attach areas to services, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so It really depends on the business owner, but for the most part, what we're seeing is lawn care people are starting to understand that route density is key, and larger is not always better. So
Mhm.
the more defined areas that they can service, the better off they'll be.
Mhm. No, it's a great product. So you mind just hopping in and giving
Yeah,
us a little tour of everything
yeah.
and showing us what it's all about?
All right, so you're going to have to.
Yeah,
Oh,
should
here
be a
we go. The
share button
share
down the
button. And I'm gonna do a window here. And I guess I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna lose myself, which isn't a bad thing, but I will. Can you see the screen?
Yep, there we go.
All right. So I lost you. Wait, maybe I better move this to my other. There we go. All right. So this is my service area dashboard. And this is, if you've been to my website or our website, myservicearea.com, and you've clicked on the pricing button or try MSA to access pricing, the window pops up. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute. And maybe let me start off there. Here we go. All right. So this is one of our lawn care and landscaping customers up in Virginia, Charles, with Stepping Stone Landscaping. Great guy. His words to us. This is a no-brainer. I wish I would have added this sooner. So, what MSA is, if you have WordPress, it's a plugin. So you add the plugin. If you use Wix or Squarespace or maybe another third-party system, add a line of code to your website. And what MSA does is you can place it on buttons. So get a quote, request service, free estimate, wherever you would like people who are visiting your website to where you want MSA to engage them. And so, the window pops up. Hey, let's make sure we service your area. Please enter in your address. So when you start typing in an address, starts popping up. That's my address. Now, if this address is in his territory, I'll get through to the request page. If it's out of the territory, he'll say, hey, sorry, we don't service your address at this time, but we're a growing company. Please leave your information. We'll follow up with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's pretty straightforward. And it's a very simple idea, but it can definitely save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches.
Yeah. So here's a story for you. So we just signed on a new lawn care company in Tennessee, and we were, talking. We actually talked quite a few times this week, and he was talking about his phone service that he uses one of those phone services for his number, and they do zip code. Like you have to submit the zip codes that you service. And
Mhm.
so they can say, hey, this person's in this zip code. And the reason why he signed on with my service area is because he has a zip code that he only services a little pocket of. And that's all he wants to do. So when, before MSA, when they would do that zip code, if somebody landed, an inquiry landed in that zip code, then he would have to invest the time to look it up and then follow up with them, and then either do a quote or say, sorry, we don't go that far out in that zip code.
Mhm.
So that's really where the power of being able to get down to the street level with MSA comes into play. If you don't want to service that side of the street because it's a bad neighborhood for whatever reason, you don't have to do it, and MSA will block it.
Well, that's awesome because I'm sure pretty much every city or town has a certain area that you don't necessarily need to be in or or you want to even service. So, like I know, like if you're not doing commercial end, there might be a whole commercial district that you can just block out if that's what you want.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Let me show you something neat that one of our other lawn care clients did, and so Jim's been with us for quite a while now, and he also has a mosquito company. So
Nice.
he has actually 2 accounts with us. Super nice guy. So here's his form. but instead they made that an image. And so
Okay.
when somebody says, "Oh, let's click on the form," it actually is an image, and so it's attached to MSA.
Nice. That's smart.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty creative. But back to what happens here. So one thing that is very valuable, especially from a marketing side, is that any address that is entered into MSA on your account, a pin is dropped on your map.
Mhm.
So let me jump over there,
This
and
part, guys, this is huge. This is a huge thing right here.
so this is just an example account. I mean, this is my service area, like I mentioned before, that's attached to the myservicearea.com website. So if you ever go there and you enter in your address, this is where it is. So this is the dashboard, and you can see my areas that I've made up for this account. I've got a landscaping, I got a pressure washing, I got lawn care, I've got weed and fertilization. But I don't have those built out yet because you would see a square mile. So when you actually have the polygon created, I just have these in the polygon. The actual areas have not been created again, but actually MSA gives you the actual square miles that you
Nice.
service, which is pretty interesting. And then I got one-time cleanings on the can, cleaning, snow removal, such here. And then you got some information. A lot of people, reference this bottom line a lot. So what a service locator view is how many times the MSA window popped up. Because you're never going to get 100% where this number equals this number, because you have people that click buttons and they're curious and they may never fill out a form. But if they do, if this number and this number equal out to be the same, go buy a lottery ticket. That'd be a good sign to go buy a lottery ticket. But then, it tracks the in area, the out of area, the unknown. So the unknown is, all the neighborhoods that are popping up here, there, and everywhere. Google can't keep up with it. So if, they enter in their address and say, "Hey, we don't recognize your address," you on the back end, you have the ability for them to go ahead and allow them through. If not, if you still want to block them, you can block them and just ask for their information. Then emails collected, you can attach your Google Sheet, which all this information is dumped into this Google Sheet.
Okay.
But let me get over. Go ahead.
Real
I'm
quick,
sorry. I was going to say, are there any questions there?
Well, just going to say, what's the advantage of the Google Sheets? How can they use that information?
Great. Thanks for asking that. So if you have emails that are collected, you could take that Google Sheet, and let's say you're using Constant Contact or some sort of email campaign tool, you can just take that sheet and upload those email addresses. So it's just an easy way to upload emails. Also, with the Google Sheet, since you have some notification functionality within a Google Sheet where it can notify you immediately, or it can give you a daily digest of inquiries or addresses that have been submitted, you can turn that on. Like for Happy Cans, I have it turned on. Sometimes in the summer, I move it to a daily report because it'll just you constantly ding, ding, ding. But it's nice to be out and I get an email saying, "Hey, somebody just submitted a address."
Okay. Nice.
And you can see if it's in territory, out of territory, the date and time.
Nice. That makes sense.
Any other questions here?
Nothing else has popped up, but no, that all makes sense to me. Let me know if anybody out there has any questions about anything here. Tonight, again, for those just hopped in, we're talking to Chris Gentry of My Service Area. It's an amazing little tool that just kind of helps you, pre-qualify those customers. We're all looking to get those better leads and better quality customers coming in. And this is basically a tool that goes in between like a form or something you have on your website. So basically it just allows the customer to type in their address, and it's going to say yes, they're in your service area, or no, they're not in your service area. And the cool thing about this tool is it can go down to the street level. So it's not like Chris said earlier, it's not up to the whole zip code. So if you have a huge area, it's a huge zip code, you may not service that whole zip code. So it's a cool tool. So just, if anybody out there has any questions, feel free to hop in and type it in the comment section. We'll get them answered for you.
Yeah, please ask some questions. Just the great thing about this, and what, I mean, I'm biased, right? But, one of the great things is now when I come home, especially in the summertime, I know that every request that I receive, I know it's worth my time to get them in the system because they're in my profitable area. I don't have to go to Google and look it up and scratch my head and go, oh, or is it worth it? Is it not worth it? So it's a yes or it's a no. But but the beauty of it is it drops a pin on the map and it could be a maybe. So you could follow up with them. But let me get over to the map, kind of where the magic happens. Now, not everybody's map is going to be like this because this is done deliberately because it's on the My Service website page. But this is the map. So I encompass the whole United States. Not a lot of detail, not street level, just one big map. And so if I turn on some pin settings, we can see a little bit of information here. And let me see. So this gives you a little bit of segmentation as well. So if you have the opportunity to import your clients, let's say you have a client list. I use Jobber. I don't know what a lot of people use, but I do know that other landscapers use Jobber. I use Jobber in my can cleaning business, and I'm able to export that information, the address, the name, the email. Are they a monthly? Are they a quarterly? I can import it into my service area, and I can give them a specific pin color. Okay. So that's another tool that you have to actually get a real good look at your business. Data visualization is a techie term for you to use. But see, now you can look at all these pins that I shouldn't have picked green because they it blends in there. Let me pick another color here. Let's try this blue and see if it does a little bit better. Did I select the right one? Oh. This is the out of area, sorry. There we go. That shows up a little bit better. Can you see that a little bit better?
Yep.
So these are all the people that have gone to the My Service Area website and actually wanted to access the pricing page, and they tried MSA out. So they entered in their address, and so it dropped it there. And so if you want to look at it, you can edit the contact. You can give it, these are the fields here. If I zoom out a little bit more, this is the information that you collect. So to put this on a regional, let's zoom in here in the Charleston area just to. Oh, let's do this. Let's see if we have one of my maps created here. Which one did I? Oh, up here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Is that showing up better? There we go. Yep. All right. So we're in Columbia. This is my pressure washing. This is my pressure washing territory. I don't have any data that is in this, but this gives you an idea of how you can, let's see, we got the landscaping. There's the little landscaping map. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So there's the landscaping. There's the pressure washing. There's the lawn. Well, I didn't do the lawn care. Weed and fertilization. Okay. All right. Looks like I only did 2 of them. But this gives you an idea of how you can have different territories for different services. Mm-hmm. And let me jump over here to E&M outdoor services. Ed is a phenomenal guy, and he does all these different services. So lawn care, snow removal, aeration, fertilization, weed control, fall cleanup, spring cleanup. So he has on his map, he has service areas attached to each one of these. So if you go to snow removal, which I'm sure they've probably gotten dumped on, he's up in Minnesota. He's got the free estimate there. Well, you click on that, and there we go. And this service is tied to that specific area.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the one nice thing about it, it's very simple, very basic, but it's a great little tool. I know in our podcast you actually share about a story, and I won't blow it all away because you got to go check out the podcast. But Chris talks about one of his customers was scared that this might deter people from using their services and using the website, but he actually saw the opposite. So you definitely want to check out the podcast where Chris talks about this more, but it's just a very simple, very easy process for the customers to go through. And that's kind of key, because if you have all these steps the customer has to go through, that might just scare them off. So this is just a simple, plain enter your address, straightforward thing. So
yeah, I mean, it's a customer service tool as well, because with a lot of the zip code, if you use a zip code filter, usually that's on the tail end of the form. You have to complete all this information and then click submit, then to receive the, oh, sorry, we don't service your zip code. Yeah. So somebody coming to your website and looking to do business with you, having that up front is customer service. It's good customer service, which reminds me. So stepping stone, I'm going to reference Charles again. Over here, let's say you have an office staff, or maybe you're in the office, and somebody calls in on the phone and says, hey, I need lawn care service. The first thing you can do is say, well, let's see if we service your address. So while you're on the phone, you can type in their address and then let's just do this. There it is. It's found in, it's going to tell me what region it's found in, and then I can create a pin to drop it. So if they're out of area, it's going to say, no, unfortunately, we're not in your service area. You can still drop a pin. And if you want to take it even further, you could zoom in on that pin to see, well, you know what? You're not that far from a neighborhood. Let's give you an estimate.
Nice.
So, I mean, having that visual option there, and that quick option to say, instead of going to Google Maps and typing in the address and then zooming in, you can type in the address and know immediately, are they in area or are they out of area?
That's perfect. So the other nice thing you mentioned earlier is that how you can use this for marketing, because you can start using it to see where your clients are at, or see if this is an area that you wanted to expand to possibly.
Yeah, I wish I had some data on this, because but on this area, let's just say, pretend in the area you'd have your green pins, the out of area you'd have your red pins. Well, since it captures all those addresses, you could zoom in on your map and look and see, well, maybe I can expand down here to Red Bank because I received 10 inquiries last month, or whatever that may be. Or maybe it's, hey, we don't have a customer out here. We haven't received one request out here. Maybe we just need to shrink, just remove that option to service this area out there. And to go back to Charles, I'm referencing Charles because Charles and I recorded a video in January, and so it's fresh on the mind. But when we were recording a video together, he was like, Chris, I'm using my MSA map in my marketing meeting. So I can show the marketing guys who I work with say these are all the requests we got last year, or because he started using MSA. He's been a customer about 7 months or so, maybe even 8 now. But so last summer he started, and he can show his marketing guys, hey, this is where I got the in territory request. This is where I got the out of territory request. Where do you think we can invest some marketing dollars?
Mm-hmm. That's smart, because like if you start using like Facebook ads or Google ads, you can pick, the areas that you want to work. And like you said, if you're seeing that the neighboring town, you're getting a lot of inquiries, well, maybe this is something I want to do and I could push more marketing there. Or you could push more marketing towards the areas that aren't getting clicked on that you have in your service area. So this is a cool little tool.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple. We have people, this is more on the can cleaning side because we just have more can cleaning customers right now, but we've got literally, I can name probably about 5 can cleaner customers that have been with us for almost 2 years that maybe log into the system a couple of times a year. In fact, I was talking to one of them this morning actually, and it's that's a good thing and a bad thing. But he was like, Chris, if I don't see if I see a refund come through, because in the can cleaning world you can a lot of can cleaners, you can buy their service on the website.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, if I see a refund come through, then you'll probably hear from me, and I'll have to check MSA, see what's going on. But you never hear from me, and I never check MSA. Every week I get those email reports. I look at that, and that's about it. It's kind of set it and forget it, if you will.
That's awesome. So you mind just sharing, if somebody goes to the website that signs up, what's the process they have to go through to get everything kind of set up with you?
Good question. We try to make it as easy as possible. So like I mentioned earlier, if you have WordPress, it's a plugin that add to the site. If you're, Squarespace or Wix or some other system, it's a line of code. Part of the initial subscribing to MSA, there is a setup fee. And what that setup fee involves is us helping to either add the line of code or plug into your website if you give us access, or we help facilitate those conversations and get the plugin over to the appropriate person if you have a managed website, or we use or we give them the code and the instructions. From there, it's setting up your territories, it's verifying the code, meaning that MSA can see the plugin or the line of code on the website, setting up the language flow, doing some testing, setting up where you want MSA to be activated on your website, meaning what button do you want it to be attached to, get a quote, free estimate. And just kind of talk about some best practices there and review the dashboard, do some testing, and then set it live.
Nice.
And that's usually, we do that over a Zoom call.
Okay. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward process then to get everything all set up.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to be scared about it whatsoever. We've had a couple of people, well, what do you mean I have to add a plugin or a line of code to my website? What does that really mean? And, after we get it done, they're like, oh, okay. I was concerned it was going to mess up my website or something.
Yeah, no, for those aren't very tech savvy, the plugins are a very simple thing to add into a WordPress website. So nothing to be afraid of. Your website already has plugins if you're not sure of some sort, I would imagine. So
yeah. And one final thing is that, in the bin cleaning world, referrals are a big thing. And we're trying to learn if referrals are a big thing in the lawn care. We've already learned a ton from you guys about, offering different services and how things operate, some of the requirements that you have. And we've built those in, and we continue to improve the software. But one of the things that, if you have 2 people that are using MSA in the same town, and you have ABC Lawn Care and Chris's Lawn Care, and somebody goes to, ABC Lawn Care, and the out of area comes up, and the two have agreed to refer business because there has to be a mutual agreement there. So the back end, so they can talk to one another. It can say, hey, sorry, we don't service your address, but our friends over at Chris's Lawn Care service your address. Would you like to go to their website? And so the cool thing is that they'll click on, if they say yes, they go over to the Chris's Lawn Care website. They don't have to enter in their address any further, because what MSA does is it puts a referral code, if you will. I'm not all tech. Puts a referral code in the link or the URL. So when it goes over and lands on Chris's website, MSA sees that code and says, hey, they're already in Chris's area. Plus, it records that information that you have a referral.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's something cool, and something we're trying to, kind of flush out in the lawn care world.
Yeah, and I can see people having mixed feelings on that, but it's something I would highly recommend. It's nice to be able to recommend or refer somebody. If you're not doing it, then what's it going to hurt you? So help somebody out. They can help you out in return.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, MSA is just, it's a simple tool to help you save time and save money. It doesn't require a lot of work on your end, except for the setup, because I do recommend during the setup that you think about your map and not just go and draw a hexagon or a circle, because you can get so, finite down to the street level. So, when somebody signs on, I say, before we do the Zoom call, think about your map and your areas that you want to service.
Can you adjust the map after it's been set up originally?
Great question. Yes, you can edit the map anytime that you want. If I go back over here, let me share my screen one more time. All right. So if you click in the map, do you see those white?
Yep.
Can you see?
Yep.
You can change.
Okay.
You can change anytime you want. Just remember to click the save button. We had the save button, because this happened to me 2 or 3 times, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to click the save button. But the save button used to be down at the bottom. Now we moved it up to the top, and flagged it yellow so you don't forget. But yes, so you can go in and if you right click, you can actually, give it a name, give it a color, give it a description. And if you want to get real technical, we only have a couple of people using this functionality, but if you wanted to get real technical and do some kind of cool things, is if their address is in one territory and you have different pricing for that territory, you can send them to that pricing page.
Nice.
So let's say you have different pricings based on area, kind of the same service, but different areas. You could direct them to a different page.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that being useful for, like you said, the trash can cleaning business. It's just a little bit further out. Even lawn maintenance, though, if it's a little bit further out, it's going to cost you more money to get there. So
exactly. So, I mean, you could have lawn care region 1, further out lawn care region 2. And if they landed in 2, instead of $50, it's, starting price is $80 or something.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out numbers. I don't know your guys' numbers just yet, but I learned a lot.
So, Chris, do you mind sharing with everybody just a little bit about the pricing, what it costs?
Sure. So the pricing tiers are based on the number of regions. So this is one region. And the first level, you get 2 regions or 2 areas, 2 little maps, or not little, they can be big. And that's basically $9 a month, $8.99. The next tier up is $17.99. The first tier is $75 setup fee. The mid tier and upper tier are the highest tier are $99 setup fee, and that's just a one-time fee. But the mid tier is $17.99, and that's 6 maps
Okay.
or areas. And then the top tier is $29.99, and that's unlimited territories that you get.
So, guys, everybody out there, this is a very cool tool, very simple tool that you can easily implement in your business, and it's going to help you get those qualified leads we're all always looking for. So, there's no point of wasting your time, wasting your energy, reaching out to a customer that's not even in an area that you service. So I highly recommend you guys get out there, check it out. Chris has been so kind. He's actually offering $50 off the sign up fee. If you go through the link that's down below, it says myservicearea.com/MDL. Guys, I encourage you to go check it out. It's a tool that can definitely, help streamline things and just save you a lot of time, a lot of energy in your estimating process and just your sales process altogether, I should say. So,
and if you guys have questions and you're watching this at a later time, shoot me an email at chris@myservicearea.com. I'm been immersing myself in the lawn care world to learn how we can improve MSA even further to help you guys out. And create more efficiency. The dense routes. I can't even believe, have we even used that word in this?
I don't think we did.
That's such a buzzword in the lawn care world, that dense routes. I mean, this is another tool that gives you that functionality to actually, zoom in and look around and being able to color code pins based on what service you offer them and see where you can create more density.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe fire some people.
Well, absolutely. Well, guys, I encourage you guys go check it out. It's a very affordable tool. That's one thing I love about it is Chris has cut the prices down, and Chris is always willing to listen to you. If you have an idea and have a suggestion on something, throw it out to them. They can implement it. They work on that. That's one thing I love about what they do. So, Chris, I appreciate you being on here tonight. Anything else you wanted to add about this?
Just, let's connect at the very least. Let's connect. And if today isn't the right time, then maybe tomorrow is.
So Jeff Park says, I'm late to the game, but I'll check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, please do, Jeff.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great little tool, guys, and the price is very reasonable to see if the leads are even in your area. So go check it out. Use the coupon code that Chris gave us, the MDL. Get $50 off the setup fee. It'll definitely be worth your price and saving you, maybe help save you some time and save your marriage, because you're gonna have to be working late at night going through leads that aren't even in your area. Well, yeah. One thing we didn't even talk about is the efficiency that you're finding too on it. You mind sharing a little bit about that?
I mean, with me, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I've been using MSA for, when did we? Almost 2.5 years I've been using it. And, like I mentioned, when I first bought Happy Cans, I was looking up address after address after address. Now that I have MSA and I get requests, I mean, the last summer, the last 2 summers, I guess, were a breeze for back end work because I wasn't looking up addresses. I knew if they came through, they were in my territory. The only thing that I had to do is just look up what route they were on. And some of the can cleaners have gotten very creative with the areas and done their routes and color coded their routes, and MSA is another reference point.
Nice.
But yeah, it's no longer a lookup game. It's, they're in, they're out, or they're out.
Jeff asked, will there be a link to follow? I missed the name. So it's myservicearea.com. It's down below here, but myservicearea.com/MDL. And then, like I said, if you use the coupon code MDL, you'll get $50 off. So definitely check it out. Jeff is actually a Academy member. So appreciate you being here, Jeff.
Yes. Thanks for showing up, Jeff.
But guys, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Chris. You can reach out to me and I'll get you directed to Chris if you watch this a little bit later. But Chris, I definitely appreciate you being on here. I'd love to have you back on here in the future and then talk about this some more, because this is definitely a product that I was unaware of. Actually, another podcaster, Andrew, reached out to me and told me about it. So I was like, we got to get you on here, because it's a great little tool that many landscapers don't even know about. They're not even aware of. So go check it out.
Well, you guys are doing great things. And once again, Andrew, shout out to you. Thank you. And Scott, thank you, for having me on. And I love the way you guys help one another in this community.
Yeah, no, it's a great community. Everybody, there's so much work out there. There's no need to bash each other. So, and there's so many people out there to help each other. So, all right, Chris. Well, again, thank you very much. It's been great. Go check out tomorrow's podcast. Everyone who's out there, it's a great episode. Chris goes a little more details and shares some awesome information in the podcast. So go check it out. All right, Chris. Thank you, and hope you have a great night.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Same to you. Thank you, everyone.
All right.